Yummy, yummy in my tummy, said Gekko. But all these snacks are making me so thirsty. I'd better open the fridge and make sure my soda's still in there. I know I left my big McDonald's soda in there last night. He opened up the fridge, and sure enough, his soda was still there. All right, he thought. Oh no! My churro! My snacks! They've dropped under the fridge, and I can't reach it! Oh, somebody help me! I don't know how to get my snack, and it's trapped under the fridge. Poor Gekko. While reaching for his soda, he dropped his snack. Now, how was he going to get his snack back? He had his drink, but his drink was useless without his snack. So he put his drink down and put his thinking cap on and thought, I know. I'll call the other PJ Masks in, and maybe they can help me. So Catboy came in and said, "What's the emergency, Gekko? You dropped your snack under the fridge? That's the emergency?" "What's the emergency?" said Owlette. "It looks like Gekko has dropped his snack under the fridge, so let's come up with a plan." So they all stood around the fridge and thought, how can we safely get the snack from under the fridge? Okay, we'll both lift from each side, and Owlette, you reach under and get the snack. What's wrong, Owlette? Cockroaches! Cockroaches and flies everywhere! Ew! Oh no, they're all over the kitchen floor! Who hasn't cleaned under the fridge? Owlette was so disgusted, and Catboy was in shock, and suddenly because they were scared, Gekko was scared, and there were flies and cockroaches all over the kitchen. Oh no, Gekko's snack was surely gone now. It looks like the flies and cockroaches were going to eat his snack. And Catboy, Gekko, and Owlette were frozen with fear. They didn't want to move. They didn't want to touch any of the bugs. They all ran to the back of the kitchen and tried to hide behind the fridge. They didn't even want to open their eyes. They were so scared. Fancy that. A bunch of superheroes scared by some bugs. But the bugs, well, they were having a great time. They were going to be able to eat Gekko's snack. And it was a huge churro. Lucky bugs. But suddenly, one of the bugs saw Owlette and decided to go and walk and fly near her. Poor Owlette, she was more and more panicked now. It was on her. Oh no! She fell down, crying, and the bug was crawling all over her. She finally managed to stand up, but neither of the boys had offered to help, and the bug was still on her and she couldn't shake it. Poor Owlette fell on the ground, and the bug was on her face. Finally, Gekko offered to help smack it off her face. Gekko hit Owlette a few times and said, "I think I got the bug." But he actually didn't. The bug had escaped. Poor Owlette was covering her face where Gekko had smacked her. Oh no. It looks like Gekko had given her a bloody nose. Gekko had been in the house all day playing Minecraft when he had the idea that he could do real Minecraft outside. So he went to the local park, went straight to the sand pit, and said, "This is a good place to start. It's nice and soft, and I can dig really, really deep." So he did just that. He got on top of the sand and started digging and digging, and nothing was coming out. But then finally, suddenly, something popped out of the sand. Wow, it's treasure, thought Gekko. But what kind of treasure is it? He didn't recognize it at all. It didn't look like anything from Minecraft. But anyways, he was really happy and decided he was going to take it home. Suddenly, Gekko's little treasure started moving on its own, and it was shaking a little bit in his hands. It was then that Gekko probably should have realized what he found was in fact an egg. When Gekko got home, he knew he had to hide his egg somewhere, and he knew his bedroom wasn't a good place because it was so dirty. The egg, that is. And he knew he couldn't wash it in the kitchen sink because his mom or his friends might find it. So he had an idea. I know. I'll wash it in the toilet. I mean, I'll at least hide it there for a little while, and then I'll come back later and get it. Yeah, that's a good idea. Now obviously, this wasn't a good idea, but Gekko, he wasn't really thinking very clearly. So he closed the toilet lid and said, "Don't worry, treasure. After dinner, I'm going to come back for you, and then I'll hide you in my room." So Gekko closed the toilet lid and went out to go watch some TV. Uh-oh, it looks like it was an egg after all. And not just any egg, a snake's egg. Meanwhile, back in the living room, Catboy and Owlette were enjoying their fast food dinner and watching their favorite TV show when Gekko came in. "Hey guys, what's going on?" said Gekko. "Not much," said Owlette, as Gekko started helping himself to Owlette's French fries without even asking. Gekko was so focused on the French fries, he didn't even realize that Catboy ran out of the room to go pee. "Oh boy, I've really got to go pee. And poo too," said Catboy. "Why does Gekko always leave his stuff lying around everywhere?" thought Catboy. "Now I've got to move his cart out of the bathroom. What is it even doing in the bathroom? Anyways, I better sit down and go poo." Oh, what's that? "Ouch," said Catboy. "Ow, what is that?" And suddenly the snake burst out of the toilet. And Catboy was so scared and in pain. He had just been bitten on the bottom by a snake. Poor Catboy was crying on the floor in pain. But it wasn't the snake's fault. After all, it was just an innocent snake. Meanwhile, in the living room, Gekko was busy trying to get more and more of Owlette's French fries. "Come on, Owlette, you gotta share with me. I don't have any French fries, and I was out doing Minecraft in the park all day." What's that sound? It sounds like something happened in the bathroom. Come on, Gekko, let's go find out what happened. "Okay, but are you sure I can't have some more of your French fries?" "Catboy, what happened?" "Yeah, Catboy, what happened?" said Gekko. And then he started to realize it was his fault. He had put an egg in the toilet, and that egg had hatched. And oh no, Catboy was having an allergic reaction to the snake's bite. "You'd better call 911 right now." So Owlette dialed the doctor, and Gekko started to feel really bad. He didn't know if he should tell them what had happened. Oh boy, and the doctor was here now. Things were getting a bit crazy. The doctor administered some anti-venom right into Catboy's poor bottom. "There you go," said the doctor. "You'll be fine soon. You gotta be careful about snakes in the toilet." And Gekko just pretended like he didn't know what was going on. Finally, Catboy was starting to feel a little bit better. He was quite embarrassed, lying on the floor with his bottom hanging out. And Gekko was feeling a little bit better that Catboy was okay. But he didn't know if he should tell everybody why there was a snake in the toilet. But Owlette was beginning to catch on, and she suspected that Gekko had something to do with it. "Gekko, do you know why there's a snake in the toilet?" And Gekko said, I didn't know there was a snake in the toilet, but I did put an egg in the toilet, and I didn't know there was going to be a snake in there." And Catboy said to Gekko, "You should never put things like eggs in the toilet." Little Gekko of the PJ Masks was having a little bake sale in the park. He was trying to make some money so he could buy a new Gekko suit. He was growing bigger and bigger and needed a brand new Gekko suit. And along came his first customer of the day. Oh, it was Mama Pig from Peppa Pig. "Hello, Mama Pig. What would you like today?" "Oh, and George is here too." "Hello, George. Would you guys like a chocolate vanilla cream cupcake?" "Yes, I would," said George. And Gekko made his first 2 sales right away. 2 happy customers. "Bye, guys." "Bye, Gekko. Good luck." And George said to Gekko, "Someday I'm going to be a PJ Mask too." And Gekko said, "I can't wait to have you on my team." I've got just 1 cupcake left. I hope somebody comes and buys it soon. Then I'll have enough money to go and get my new suit. Where are my customers? And Gekko looked around and didn't see anybody. But then suddenly, his friends were coming in. Oh look, it's Catboy and Owlette. Hey Gekko, how are the sales going? Are you making lots of money? And Gekko said, yes I am. How much money have you made? Said Owlette. Do you almost have enough for your suit? Yes, just one more sale and I'll have enough money. Well, we're sorry, we don't have any money right now, so we can't buy one from you. That's okay, said Gekko. I'm waiting for real customers. I don't want to take money from my friends. Well, I better get back to work, okay guys? I can't play right now. Sure, no problem, said Catboy. Owlette and I have some homework to do, so we'll come back later. See ya! Yeah, see you later, Gekko. We'll come back later when we're done our homework, and we'll help you clean up, okay? Thanks, guys. Bye! Not soon after they had left, a very strange-looking customer came along. In fact, Gekko wasn't even sure it was a customer. It looked like a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And poor little Gekko, well, he was just a little gecko. Gekko just kept smiling, even though the T-Rex ate his last cupcake without paying. In fact, Gekko didn't know what to do. T-Rexes were much stronger than little geckos, he was sure. And it didn't look like the Tyrannosaurus Rex was going away. It looked like the T-Rex wanted more things to eat. But poor Gekko, he didn't have any more food. What was he going to do? And the T-Rex began shaking the cart, hoping some more food would fall out. And Gekko started to cry, and he wasn't smiling anymore. He was a little bit scared as his cart crashed to the ground. More food, said the T-Rex. More food. And Gekko didn't know what to do. But then the T-Rex looked at Gekko and thought, wow, this little Gekko looks like a nice little pet for me. Maybe I'll take him back to my house, and I'll have a little Gekko pet. That's perfect for a big T-Rex like me, don't you think? So he tied up little Gekko and thought, what a lovely little pet. I can't wait to bring him back home. Now the dinosaur, he didn't even realize that Gekko wasn't actually a gecko at all, but a little boy, because his costume was so good. Gekko! Gekko! Shouted Owlette. Oh no, Catboy! Where's Gekko? It looks like his cart has been pushed over. And there's no sign of Gekko. But look, there seem to be some tracks here, some footprints, and they lead this way. Come on, Owlette. This is a case for the PJ Masks. But we aren't the PJ Masks, said Owlette. The PJ Masks have 3 members. We've never went on a crime without our third member, without Gekko. What are we gonna do without Gekko? Well, that's exactly what we have to find out, said Catboy. We've got to rescue Gekko. We've got to find out what happened. Now come on, let's go. Meanwhile, back at T-Rex's house, out in the forest, Gekko was still crying and making funny little sounds. And T-Rex didn't know why his little pet Gekko was so unhappy. In fact, he thought the Gekko should be happy. It finally had a home, and it was safe. Poor little geckos out in the wild often get eaten, thought the T-Rex. I'm not going to eat my Gekko. I'm going to keep him as my favorite little pet. Why is he still crying? Suddenly, somebody else was coming into T-Rex's house. It was Owlette. Gekko, what are you doing here? Why are you tied up? And Gekko finally managed to talk. And the T-Rex was surprised that his little Gekko could talk. And suddenly there was another person in his house. It looked like there was a cat, an owl, and a Gekko in his house. The T-Rex was really confused. And finally Gekko managed to say, the dinosaur, he took me here and I didn't know what to do. I was so scared. Catboy went over to the dinosaur and said, you shouldn't take people, you know. And the dinosaur said, I'm sorry, I really thought it was just a gecko. Well, he's not a gecko, said Owlette. He's our friend, and he's a crime-fighting superhero. Well, I'm really sorry, said the dinosaur. Let's untie him. I'm really sorry. And Gekko finally felt safe again. Wow, that was really scary, he thought. Now that this big misunderstanding had been cleared up, Owlette had brought a hot dog just for the dinosaur and said, "Here you go. Thanks for not eating my friend Gekko, and thanks for actually taking care of him a little bit. We were really worried. But your big heavy footprints led us right here. You're not a very good criminal, because you're not a criminal, I guess. So why don't you enjoy this hot dog and get to know us a little bit better? In fact, maybe you can help us someday on one of our crime-fighting adventures." And the T-Rex was really happy. He wasn't a bad guy at all. He just didn't know that Gekko wasn't actually a gecko. And Gekko was finally being untied by Owlette and Catboy, and he used that time to chat and get to know the dinosaur, and said, "You know what? We're not all that different. We're both green. We're both kind of like lizards. Maybe we could make a new little team together." And the dinosaur was really happy. He'd found a real friend. And Gekko thought, wow, a strong dinosaur is my new friend. This is going to be great. Now, do you guys at home have any ideas how Gekko and his new T-Rex dinosaur friend can help save the day in some kind of crime fighting? Any ideas? Write them in the comments and let Gekko know.